Good morning and a warm welcome to everyone from a cold winter's morning here in Johannesburg. Welcome to our Salesforce Document Mastery webinar with DocFusion and a Salesforce partner, EXAH. We appreciate your investment in time from wherever you're listening in and tuning from. This webinar will run for about an hour, and towards the end of the webinar, you'll be afforded time for Q&A. Firstly, a huge thank you to our sponsors for this webinar, DocFusion and their award-winning Salesforce partner, EXAH. Please share any questions or comments that you'd like to ask our speakers or need answers. Share on the webinar Q&A, on the chat column, the message column, and we'll have our speakers tend to it. And please do use the event's hashtag, which is Crush Complexity. We are fortunate to have the captains of the document automation industry with us, Palesa Sekwani, Channel Account Manager from DocFusion. He will share trends and challenges in financial document automation. And Ashley Marie, EXAH Project Consultant. Ashley will share some great insights on customer success story and deep dive discovery on DocFusion for Salesforce. Also, we have Mani Dupré and Tian Leroux from DocFusion and EXAH that will share data and answer your questions and support for our speakers. Let me set the scene for our session today. In this webinar, DocFusion, in collaboration with award-winning Salesforce partner EXAH, will showcase how DocFusion's no-code Salesforce integration empowers financial services teams to create professional, compliant documents with ease. Salesforce dominates in CRM, but businesses struggle with document generation and automation within the platform. So existing solutions are cumbersome, expensive, and driving up costs and compromising system integrity. Enterprises frequently face the challenge of generating large volumes of complex documents that need to be automated. Existing solutions are often cumbersome, time-consuming, and require a specialized coding or IT skills to manage that. DocFusion for Salesforce simplifies the creation of professional, compliant documents, eliminate complexity and efficiency. Enough of that. Let me hand over to our subject matter experts. They will share and demonstrate to us the benefits and features of DocFusion in your Salesforce environment. Palesa Sekwani, Channel Account Manager from DocFusion.
Hello everyone, my name is Palesa Emmanuel William Sekwani, and I work as a channel manager as well as product specialist for DocFusion, and I'm based here in Johannesburg, South Africa. Today we'll be talking about our enterprise-grade document generation capabilities of DocFusion within Salesforce. We do know that webinars can sometimes be long and boring. I'm not going to bore you too much with too many slides, and then we'll jump into the demo. So for the past 20 years, we've identified the need for an enterprise-grade and user-friendly document generation solution. So DocFusion fills this gap really well because we've got built-in data security to ensure that data is encrypted, rollback access control, version control, and detailed audit trails for all of your document templates across your enterprise. Yes, basic document generation capabilities can be achieved through mail merge and other tools. And in a lot of instances, people tend to use custom code to deal with complex scenarios. So in the context of Salesforce, you might look at Apex code for some of those scenarios. However, custom code, regardless of the platform that you choose, gives you workarounds that aren't only difficult to manage, but also require the hiring of developers, thereby inflating costs in terms of manpower and resources, licensing, getting the rare skills, and it could actually essentially compromise the integrity of your enterprise-grade setup and be expensive amongst other things. So at DocFusion, we have 4 key areas that we consider as part of our solution. We make it easy for business users to create templates, leveraging their expertise in document compilation. DocFusion offers controlled management of templates with check-in and check-out features, notes on changes, and forward publishing options. We also assemble various document types from text messages to PDFs based on created templates and organizational data. Lastly, once you've generated your document, you can actually decide what you want to do with these assembled documents. Do you want to send them for electronic signatures, maybe upload them to a document management system, or maybe make them part of an approval workflow, for example. So DocFusion for Salesforce, we've actually allowed customers to have access to a compliant, scalable, secure, enterprise-grade document generation solution. So we're available on the App Exchange. We at DocFusion introduced a direct access feature, allowing a DocFusion button to integrate flawlessly into your Salesforce interface, eliminating the need for alternate solutions or cumbersome procedures to achieve that. So, I mean, with DocFusion for Salesforce, they complement each other well. You'll have an enhanced capability with DocFusion within Salesforce. So, I mean, here you'll have an enterprise-grade platform with a specialized matched enterprise-grade document generation solution that will operate smoothly within your Salesforce framework, thereby boosting its functionality without disrupting the user experience, ensuring a scalable, secure solution under one familiar ecosystem. So we give you effortless integration and operation. I mean, our connectors are really easy to set up. With our connectors, we've actually done the integration for you. All you have to do is do the configuration. There's no need for custom development, which leads to some benefits such as faster time to market. So what do we mean when we say faster time to market? What we mean, how we achieve this at DocFusion is that we can build complex requirements in an easy way. Remember, our templating authoring experience requires no technical background or development experience. You can build templates in a familiar tool like Microsoft Word in hours and not in days or weeks. You can reduce the amount of time to develop and publish a template to production, cut down on development costs, empower your subject matter experts, and have them building templates with minimal learning curves. For example, with the case studies that we've done with some of our customers, they found that the turnaround time for building a new process and launching a new product or new set of products with DocFusion was done in more or less about 70% faster than before. We give you a platform that is easy to maintain. And I mean, we've talked about the DocFusion platform and DocFusion for Salesforce. The DocFusion platform is not itself tightly coupled to Salesforce or any other system. So you can actually extend DocFusion beyond Salesforce. But DocFusion connects to multiple systems within an organization in a seamless way. So we give you that out-of-the-box governance and compliance. We're also on the forefront of document generation, and we deliver this on Salesforce, matching and delivering unparalleled excellence and quality. And from a scalability perspective, for example, for one of the largest investment banks in South Africa, they replaced their old legacy batching process with a DocFusion batch process to send a high volume of statements to customers, and they found that they were able to do double the volume in less than a quarter of the time. So with that, I would like to hand over to Ashley from EXAH. EXAH is one of our DocFusion consulting and implementation partners that we work closely with. We share customers in the banking, insurance, and wealth management space, to name a few. Ashley will show us the demo, and she will demonstrate how effortless it is to generate a document within Salesforce using DocFusion in a few steps. Over to you, Ashley.
Thank you, Palesa. Hello, everyone. I am Ashley Murray, and I am from EXAH, a Salesforce implementation partner. We have been working with DocFusion over the past couple of months to bring a solution for a Salesforce client that we have been working with. This client specifically for this use case is a financial services cloud client, and we will be demonstrating the complexities of the documents that can be created with DocFusion and Salesforce. The client that we have has many different types of documents, and they have simple documents as well as complex documents, and they use a range of different types of documents such as consent forms and contracts, as well as more complex documents such as quoting and policies. Currently and previously, this client made use of documents that were a combination of either printed items as well as handwritten items, or both. We are creating a system that allows them to have everything be created automatically and stored digitally. Here you can see an example of the current and previous documents that were used. These documents have both digitally printed items as well as handwritten items. They were in the process of printing some of the documents, filling in the information by hand, and then scanning and uploading to a shared drive so that they could save it. Now we are moving from this way into a better way for managing their templates, as well as being able to store the documents in a better, more manageable way. And they are then able to also store their documents to the specific client instead of creating folders for that. With Salesforce and DocFusion, they are able to take these documents, send them out for signatures, as well as capturing information, and then they receive those forms back, and the documents then get stored digitally and attached to the specific records of those objects that they have been used for. As this company grows, you can imagine that storing documents on shared drives as well as creating things manually and handwritten can become quite tedious. So therefore, we are moving the entire platform over to Salesforce and DocFusion to make it easier for their employees as well as the maintenance and growth that they will have. All of this combined in terms of Salesforce and DocFusion will help their company grow and be manageable in the future. Because we have decided to use DocFusion, we are able to create many different documents with many different types of complexities. After seeing how this company has previously done things, I would now like to demonstrate an end-to-end process of what we have created using the same process, but now digitized, going through the steps as they would, but in the form of using Salesforce as well as DocFusion and Signiflow. As you can see, we have a generate and sign quote button. This will pop up and the user will be able to click submit, which will then trigger the generation of the document. Once the document has been generated, you will get a preview of this document where you can verify and validate the information according or comparing it to the record that you captured if you would like, but all these fields are mapped from your record and should pull through onto your document. From this document, you will get once this document has been generated, it will also allow you to go to the signature of the document. From here, you can click accept and you'll be able to view the document. There is a signature block, as you did not see it in the preview, but you can see it here. The person will be able to sign the document, and that is that. You can have a signed document per client. Now that you have seen what the automated and digitized end-to-end process looks like from an end user perspective, I'd like to show a short demo of the effort and steps involved in building a process like this using DocFusion for Salesforce. Here we move to our doc bench or DocFusion doc bench, where this is basically where you keep all your templates, so your template repository, where they are stored. Templates can be checked in and out and edited from here. So all templates are version controlled and by user groups that can be set, and only certain groups or departments can edit or view certain templates and that are relevant to them. Once a template is ready, it can then be published. Okay, now I would like to show you the template authoring section. I would like to go into details of how templates are designed with all the necessary rules, data field mappings from Salesforce, and the easy way that we can use these fields without the requirement of custom code or complicated syntax. From here, you will see that DocFusion has a unique way that allows a complex document to be built. You are able to build quite complex documents without having a development heavy or code heavy input. One of the more important parts or the most important starting points is your extension. So you go up to, you have Word open, and then you have your extension, which is your DocFusion part. You then move on to your data model. Your main focus in the beginning will be to create and make sure that you have the hierarchy correct in your data model. Here you can see the object that we are using, specifically quote for this item. So to show you the complexities of quote, we have got different levels within the quote hierarchy. And you can see we have account with the fields that are on both account and then on quote. So account will have its own fields in a lower level. And then again, we are going to a deeper level and going into the financial service primary contact. So there are multiple levels of objects that you can dive into. As you can see, there are many fields that can be pulled in, and they have the names and fields that are associated or seen on your Salesforce org. And then you can see that the levels can continue to go down, and then all these items will be related. Here you have your Salesforce connector. This is where you bring your objects in. You first go in and make sure that you are in your instance over there, and then you can search for your objects. Once you've picked your object, you can go to the fields and identify the fields that you will need to bring into your document. Right. We then use our information over here to drag and drop your fields. So you choose a field and you decide where it wants to go, and you can simply click and drag the field over there. As you can see, the rest of this document is pre-populated for this example that we are demonstrating. And you can see the many different types of fields that we do have being brought into this document. For example, the date. Once you have decided what fields you are going to bring in, you can then move to the adornments. Adornments are an adjustment to your specific field that you are bringing in. So for date, we would like a date to be visualized and displayed in a certain way. And then you can do that using the adornments. So you click on the data field, which is green, and then you can click adornments. You then add the adornment, and then you can open it and then customize it as you wish. You can type in your own format for how you want your date to be displayed, and then you can see all the different types of ways that you can have your information displayed. Another adornment that we do use specifically for quote is the number. So you can see there's no adornment on that currently. You can then go to format number. And you can see there's none there, so we go none, which allows you to open and add. We use number specifically so that we want to have a decimal digit of 2 separated by a comma, and then to have a space in between every third number. The nice thing is it gives you an example of what you would be seeing at the end there. And then you can go through your, you can save your item and make sure that your number is how you would like it to be visualized. So you will see there are many different adornments available, and you can pick and choose and go through all of them. Obviously, we're not going to go through all of them now. A very cool one that I like is the convert number to words. Specifically, when we go to our policy documents, they would like the numbers displayed as words. So you just add this adornment to the specific number field that you're bringing in. Even if it is a number on Salesforce, it will be converted into words. Okay, so moving on, we have a table where we are going to display multiple items. Here we make use of the repeater, and the repeater allows you to have multiple points of information displayed that are linked to the main item, so quote line items specifically for this example. So you can open or view the repeater, and then you also have an optional smart part. So you can click on a section and have it viewed optionally. You can allow it to be collapsed if it is blank, and you can make or open the value or display the value based on a value that has been received. We then move on to our hierarchy. This allows you to see what bindings have been created per data field. So if you click on the data field in the smart part, you will see that it's binding or what binding it has. You can also see which fields have the adornment because it has the little gear next to it, and you can see what, if you click on it, it can take you into the actual adornment, and then you can go and adjust it if you need to. Another great feature of DocFusion is its ability to allow you to preview your documents. You can create a scenario and then move on to the preview, and you can preview your item in PDF. Make sure the fields that are needed to pull through are pulling through correctly. Obviously, if your ID that you use in your scenario for that specific object is not populated correctly, it's not going to pull the correct information. As you can see in the lower, once you scroll down through your document, you can see that this document has, or its repeater has worked correctly. So the table is then repeating on the correct information. So we wanted it to create a repeat on the quote line items, and you can see that it has done that. So another advantage of your DocFusion is its ability to link with Signiflow quite easily. So over here, you will see that we have some hashes and everything. These are tags that are used with Signiflow that you need to, or that allow your Signiflow to connect to DocFusion, and depending on the tags that you insert will depend on what is kicked off in terms of Signiflow. So this specifically is for a signature, and you need it to be, the item to be signed. So it will then sign or send this to the email that has been listed, as well as the person. They will get the email, and then they will have a block that they need to sign. Once you have created all of your items and you would like to edit or maintain your button configurations and recipes, you can go into the DocFusion app. You are able to access all the button configurations and recipes that you have previously created. as well as create and access your follow-up actions. There's also generation logs, which allows you to see if there have been any errors, and it will go into the specific details of what has happened in the generation logs. And that is it from my side. I just would like to end off by saying that working with DocFusion has been an exciting and eye-opening experience. Previously not having worked in the industry and now working in the industry, it has been an easy transition to be able to work with these documents. I come from a background of teaching and now am working as a project manager and consultant and found the ease of use with DocFusion very exciting. And I just want to emphasize the fact that it is really simple to start using, and it allows normal users to be able to create very complex documents. And I've had quite a lot of fun being able to create these documents and learning, and DocFusion is a great product that has helped me create very complex documents with this specific client, and will continue to help build out these very complex documents with the ease of being able to drag and drop fields without having an extremely technical background. I have found it extremely easy to use. And with that, thank you for your time. And now we will jump into questions. Over to you again, Rodney. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Ashley. That was actually very great. Can I just remind the audience that if you have any questions, please put it in the Q&A column. We have our experts and our subject matter expertise willing and ready to actually answer some of your questions. Also, please, if you want to join the conversation, it's hashtag Crush Complexity. We do have had one question from Nadesh Kandan with regards to law, trust, and the focus on digital authentication. I'm going to afford Palisa. I don't know if Nadesh is still, Nadesh obviously is probably still on the line, but Palisa, I know that you responded on our chat line, but would you like to address this question and maybe just walk Nadesh through to some of the pointers, if you don't mind?
Yeah, thanks for that, Rodney. So just to answer that question, I mean, with law trust, a lot of the guys know that, you know, the focus has been mainly on like digital authentication, digital signatures, and pretty much secure electronic communications. So, I mean, DocFusion supports this. We do integrate with digital signature providers, like you've seen in this demo by Ashley, where we've got the SigniFlow component. And then when you look at things like document approval, for example, I mean, that usually involves one or more individuals who review and authorize, you know, the content, the format, the distribution of a document before it's finalized or published, right? So we do support that, because remember with the slide that I also had up, there was that bold component, what you do when you assemble the document. So you can easily integrate DocFusion or a document generated by DocFusion into an approval workflow. So we support that.
Fantastic.
If you have any questions, please post. Yeah.
Please do post any questions if there's anything that you would like to actually address. Let me actually start off this. Obviously, it was, thank you very much, Ashley and Palisa. That was a very, very interesting and a very thoughtful presentation that you gave us. And, you know, we could see the benefits that can be enjoyed when you integrate DocFusion into your Salesforce environment. I'd like to ask some questions, and probably maybe Mani can give us some insights or some highlights over this. We've seen a DocFusion demo within Salesforce, but in one of the slides, you mentioned that DocFusion can be connected to multiple systems. Please elaborate on this and share with us how that can be done.
Thanks, Rodney. So I just want to answer before I jump into that question. It's a good question. There's another question from Andre Peterson. Can you send documents via SMS for signature to be signed on a mobile device? So the answer is yes. And I guess we can elaborate on that a bit further. I just wanted to answer that quickly.
Okay.
So your question, is that DocFusion can connect to multiple systems. Yeah, correct. So obviously, we've seen a demo now with DocFusion for Salesforce. So yes, it's important to understand that DocFusion is not tightly coupled to Salesforce. So DocFusion was built for enterprises and organizations that have a lot of enterprise applications in the ERP, CRM, BPM, and ECM space. The idea is for DocFusion to serve as a central template repository or template management system and document automation engine for the entire enterprise. So imagine having all of your legal templates, customer onboarding contract templates, proposal templates, agreements, customer statement templates, or templates for customer communications or letters, all of it in one central repository, instead of having some templates hosted on other systems or on somebody's desktop PC. And there's no governance around template changes and no version control. So it's a mess. So DocFusion allows you to consolidate and have every single template that is in your that is important to your organization in one place. So if you acquire DocFusion for your Salesforce document automation challenges, the good news is that you can use it for other processes outside of Salesforce as well. Having said this, we are still very excited about our partnership with Salesforce and with partners such as EXAH, since Salesforce is doing a great job in their space, and our customers seem to be very excited about their respective Salesforce journeys. So we have built a native connector for Salesforce and a Salesforce app, which is available on the Salesforce App Exchange. For this very reason, our customers demanded it, and they wanted us to bring the best of what DocFusion has to offer into their Salesforce world. And that was what this demo was about.
Fantastic. There's a question that came from Andre Peterson. Can you send documents via SMS for signature to be signed on a mobile device?
I did answer that one.
Yes, that's right. That's the one you used that. Then there's another one from Umpo Tisani. Can we have dynamic fields so that the information selected or input determines the outcome of a document? Who wants to take it?
Ashley, do you want to take that one?
Yes. So as I did glance over it quite quickly in the demo, but yes, you can. Those items that I discussed, the optional fields, those can be used with the dynamically. So if you can set it to, if it equals a certain number or item or pick list field, whatever, you can set that, or it contains a certain value. So for instance, on the table that I displayed, we have multiple items that come into the quote line items, but we don't want insurance specific items shown there. We only want cover specific. So we set both an optional and a repeater on the table. So yes, it is very dynamic in that way. So as you could see, there was no insurance items displayed, and so those were optionally not viewed, and then it was dynamically populated with the covers.
All right. Thank you very much, Ashley. Please, everybody, if there's any questions that you have, please populate it in the Q&A column. We have our experts and our colleagues over here. They would love to address those questions that you have. I think let's just go back to the very first question, the seed question that you have. Did you actually answer that particular one, Manny, the one with regards to connected to multiple systems, or were you just focused on the question that we get from the first guy?
No, I think I answered it in full.
Okay.
You can elaborate a bit on that maybe in the end if there's no more other questions from the audience. But
all right. Okay. I don't have anything there. There's nothing yet coming through. Perhaps maybe you want to just elaborate on that. Just give us a little bit more insight in terms of that, if you don't mind.
So basically, so the connected to multiple sources, I did sort of address that in full, but just another note on that point. So DocFusion also provides many different integration options to organization as well. So if it's connected to multiple systems, so we have the option to pull data or push data from different sources. So the difference between that, just to explain that quickly, by allowing DocFusion to pull data, like we do in the Salesforce connector, you need no integration layer or middleware. And the time to market will be much faster, as opposed to creating a process in the middle where data needs to be extracted from other systems, transformed and sent to DocFusion. So So there's no right or wrong way, but there's obviously pros and cons to push data or pull data, but we support both those options as well when you integrate the different systems.
Thank you, Manny. Very well. That was a good elaboration on that. Let me pose another question to Tian. Tian, you are an award-winning Salesforce partner. Why do you find DocFusion to be a game changer in your Salesforce implementations? Share a little bit on that on us and put some light into this.
Sure. So obviously Salesforce is an exceptionally automation-rich environment, and often you already have a lot of complexity to deal with. When document generation becomes part of that, it can often slow down the project in a way that is quite substantial. So when we're able to add this, which is kind of best of breed in every essence, we're able to access every part of Salesforce. We're able to know whatever we're building is completely scalable, which just suddenly makes that speed of build so significant that it kind of changes some of the approaches we do in Salesforce. The addition of this tool means that we can take on whole sections of work that we couldn't do before in a realistic timeline. And that's just been enormous for us. When we add that to everything else after this, such as the Signiflow, it also just means that we never really have to break the loop. So it just gives far more control over the teams, over how projects actually are done. That especially from a dev front, as they indicated earlier, you previously had to have quite hardcore devs in order to just get to base document generation. Now you can do very advanced and scalable document generation, even just with admins.
Okay. All right. That is good. I'm wondering whether I'm just trying to see. Here's another. Let me just see. If there's another question. No, there's no questions coming through. What I would just want to make our audience aware of, please to check the file section for a lot of information about DocFusion. We do have some files and we've loaded some good information around there. Please feel free to go and have a look at that. Obviously, we will also make a recording available after this. I don't have any more questions that's coming out from the line.
There was one on the chat, I think.
There's one that just came through. Hold on, let me just have a look. Anonymous user. Does DocFusion allow for the use of templates and customization with these templates, especially for industries like insurance? Did you guys get that?
Yes, so I think for the use of templates and customization, yes, that's exactly, I think what the demo was about, is that so actually spend a lot of time on how we design and map templates in the demo. And some of the parts that we sort of skipped over quickly might have been the template repository, where you store all of your templates and manage all of your templates. But that is exactly what DocFusion was built for, was to sort of build and customize templates, especially in the insurance and banking industries.
So the answer is a resounding yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely. There's another question that also came from Ernest Kleinhans. How do I get the signed document into my Salesforce system mapped to the record?
Okay, so on the DocFusion side, in the end, and that's also a part that actually showed quickly, is how do you configure your button and your recipes? There was a small piece on the end. So again, we spend most of the time on the template mapping side, because just to explain or show how quickly and easy that is. But that portion with the recipes, if you look at the screen, you could select sort of a workflow and follow-up actions. So when you configure your button in Salesforce, you can select your template and follow-up actions, and those follow-up actions, you have an option to attach your document that was generated to a Salesforce record, or you can send it for signature. And then obviously there's some events and notifications coming from the signature system to tell you person A has signed, person B has signed, everybody's signed, and then we'll update Salesforce again, sort of to notify you in Salesforce who has signed, has the document been signed or not signed yet. And once everybody has signed, the final signed document will be pushed back to Salesforce or to another document management system. Gotcha.
Okay, let me just flip through. I just want to go through the chat and the Q&A columns, because I think the audience are actually popping questions in both those areas. There's nothing there at the moment. There's nothing more that came through. So perhaps let me go back to maybe another question. Mani, there are obviously other document generation products in Salesforce space as well. What makes you different from your competitors, and how do you stand out share a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that's a good question, Rodney. I think Tian, to some extent, has answered some of them when you asked him about why it's different using DocFusion as an implementation partner. But so we were told that document generation, the document generation space in the Salesforce App Exchange was a cluttered space. We were told that by Salesforce. So let me start by saying, to the end customer or end user, there may not seem to be a difference between DocFusion or any other product out there. So they browse to a Salesforce object or record, like you saw Ashley do, click on a button, the document gets generated and pre-populated with the necessary custom information, and it will be sent for approval or digital signatures or whatever. So we cannot really compare ourselves by the end result or output that was created, since every product will produce the same output, or at least they should be able to, right? So DocFusion's value proposition is in the process to get to that end result. So it's not just clicking the button, getting the document. It's how did we get there? How did we build that? And that is what Ashley demonstrated. So how was the process built? How long did it take? Was it easy or difficult? Were you dependent on highly skilled IT team or developers? Were they a bottleneck that slowed the process down? So our customers have compared DocFusion with other products and found that in most cases, they could build the same template and process in more or less 70% faster with DocFusion. That's something Palesa mentioned in the beginning as well. And then with other products, so your time to market is a massive benefit. And once the document automation process is live, then there is the question of how are template changes or document workflow changes maintained. Again, it is a customer dependent. If a customer is dependent on a developer's highly skilled IT team, or can a business user manage template changes themselves with a little training, and can they do it quickly and independently? So it is a matter of configuration versus integration and code, and I think Tian has also addressed that to some extent.
Gotcha. No, thank you very much. You've really addressed. You want to comment on that, Tian?
Yes, just to strengthen that. The second thing is that the products we generally see are mostly a stopgap. Like they made so that you can produce a document from Salesforce, but they're not made for everything else. And our issue is that most document generation happens outside Salesforce. So to get a tool that just does document generation in that spectrum feels like a bit of a waste. But in DocFusion, you join the sea of document generation that already exists within these clients, but you suddenly get all of those features inside Salesforce. So for us, there's no comparison between these. And the one is the decision, as we said, to take existing powerful tooling already adopted inside the organizations and add the Salesforce component. The other one is it's either they have no other document generation or you're just adding something to the frame.
Gotcha. Very good. Very good.
So just one last comment on that differentiator, right? So another differentiator is that DocFusion was built for enterprise customers from the ground up. I think this sort of also differentiates us from all the other products in that cluttered space in Salesforce. So DocFusion, it was built for enterprise scale, and we follow best practices in security, compliance, and governance for document automation and template management specifically. So this does not mean that Salesforce is only, DocFusion is only accessible to enterprise customers though, because we have created product and pricing plans for various industries and markets, depending on their requirements. But it's an enterprise product, enterprise scalability, security, compliance, and governance.
Fantastic. Full compliance, full GRC, so you'll have the legal eagles very comfortable for that. There's a very interesting question that just came through from Mohammed Slamdin. I don't know if you've seen it, but let me read it to the rest of the group. With regards to the template repository for personalized financial reports and price increase notifications that differs from customer to customer, can DocFusion integrate with our existing web app and database to automatically query customer information and export it to the DocFusion document? We don't make use of Salesforce, but we have our own in-house CRM platform. Did you guys get that?
Yeah. So the answer is yes. So you don't have Salesforce, but we did mention that DocFusion is not tightly coupled to Salesforce. So basically, it would be a similar use case. So if we receive a notification, in that case, DocFusion's API can be called by their system, or DocFusion process needs to be triggered. DocFusion can pull the information, or the information can be pushed to DocFusion, and we can create those reports as well. So we do have some use cases in the wealth management industry with regards to reports, monthly portfolio reports and complex reports.
So it's heterogeneous. So in other words, there's no discrimination because they're not using a Salesforce platform. Got you.
Great.
There's a question here from Debbie Fernandez. Debbie, I'm not sure if I'm reading it correctly. It says process and document management. Is it especially or great for documents that get reviewed in line with legislation? I'm not sure how.
I don't know if that's a question. Yeah, I don't know if it's a question or statement.
Or a comment. Yeah,
comment. Maybe just a comment.
Management, especially great for documents that get reviewed in line with legislation. Okay, all right, Debbie. If that's a comment, or we gladly accept that comment. It says it's great for documents that get reviewed in legislation. Hang on. Here's another question from Umpo. Are there any training programs or certification courses available for DocFusion? And what upcoming features or updates can we expect from DocFusion in the near future?
Yes,
we created a vibe now. So now everybody wants to know about this, and they want to go on training, and they want to see, and they want to get wise into this product. Talk to us about it.
Yeah, so for training purposes, you can contact us. So we basically do DocFusion classroom training and enablement. There's nothing like at the moment that we have on something like Udemy or so on, but we do have personal training and enablement that we give our customers. And what upcoming features and updates can we expect? I guess the best would be to follow us on LinkedIn or subscribe to our newsletter, and we'll get everybody updated there. I don't know if on the EXAH side of this stuff.
Is there anything from EXAH? Are you doing any great and wondrous things coming down the line that will excite the clients for training and getting in line with what you can offer?
I think, as we said, the ideal is that they have the base knowledge, obviously, what DocFusion does. If they're Salesforce knowledgeable, they figure it out in minutes, at least the Salesforce portion, which is kind of great.
Okay.
So the irony is it's not that necessary. It's not that's unique to a large degree. They must just focus on understanding the broad concepts behind it.
Fantastic.
By the way, features.
Okay, go for it.
Right now, I'm just saying upcoming features. We do share a roadmap as well. So again, if you subscribe to the newsletter or something, there is some roadmap items like we are looking at stuff like MuleSoft connectors for the future. We've just released our batch engine API. There's been a lot happening. We are looking into the AI space as well.
Fantastic.
To sort of assist template authors and people building processes during that process to do it even quicker and more efficiently. So because I see it's upcoming features and updates. So definitely upcoming features, but to stay up to date, I guess the best is to follow us.
Fantastic. By the way, I must tell you that you just received a gold medal from Mohammed Slamdeen because you answered that question very well. So thank you very, very, Mohammed. That was very nice. Perhaps do you think in line with what is coming up and what is new or the type of thing, do you think it will be worthy to maybe just share? I know that we have some documentation in our files folder. Do you think maybe it would be of use if we actually, or the clients or the audience can actually just go directly into that and have a look at that? There could be some information in there. What do you think?
I think, let them download. I mean, the presentation is there. There's a insurance and banking brochure and a Salesforce brochure. So it sort of gives you an overview of DocFusion in the insurance space, banking space, and the Salesforce space separately. Fantastic. And then obviously we've got some videos. I don't know if the videos are shared, but that's on our YouTube. Yeah.
Fantastic. Like I said, this transcript will be available. It is recorded, and they can obviously have access into that. Let me just flip again to see if there are any other chats or any other questions that came through. Hold on. Let me see. Debbie Fernandez says, so is document change? Especially so, as document terms change, you manage it in one place. I'm not sure. I see you nodding your head there, Ashley. Do you recognize this type of comment or question?
I think that just refers again to the repository where you get to manage all your templates in there, and you have different versions of your templates, and you can publish your different templates according to which are relevant at the time. So I think that's what it's related to.
Gotcha. We got some.
Oh, I think you got muted or something, Rodney. So there's one more question from Nate's there. So I'll just carry on. Sorry, I think we lost Rodney. Or did you lose me?
No, not just you.
Okay.
Am I
Can I
saying
just announce one last thing? Just an update for the guys on the call. We had our DocFusion breakfast, I think, in April. And then we also announced a user group that we've started for DocFusion. So it's pretty much agnostic, whether you Salesforce, using Sapiens or whatever. It's all about DocFusion. You can meet similar people who've worked on similar scenarios, but there'll be more information on LinkedIn on that. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah, so there's two more questions, and we can answer that, and I think we can wrap up, Rodney. Then any other questions can be asked via email or something else. The one is, there is a link between records management and information classification, how it relates. So I'll answer that. So I guess the question is, so DocFusion is obviously a template management system, not a document management system. So in other words, you have one template, a smart template with lots of rules and dynamic content. And that one template for different customers can translate to documents that's got lots of variations. And so every customer's document will look different in the end, but it's all based on one template, right? So once you understand that difference, DocFusion is a template management system, and then you get a document management system. Now, obviously, DocFusion, once we generate a document and the customer signs, that document pre-populated with the customer's information will go to a document management system. And because DocFusion has all the information, or got all the information when we generated this document, we can push that document to a document management system and classify it correctly, put it in the correct folder for you, with the correct metadata in the document management system, so you can easily find that document afterwards.
Gotcha.
So that's the link between DocFusion and the records management system. So I hope that answers Nate's question. So DocFusion is the process before, and we hand over.
There's a question from Dido.
Is this applicable if you don't use Salesforce? So yes, the webinar, it was specifically for Salesforce, DocFusion for Salesforce, but like we said, DocFusion can be used outside of Salesforce as well. Just a different way of integration perhaps. But everything we said is also applicable. You still have the central repository outside of Salesforce. You still have document generation outside of Salesforce. You're just not using Salesforce's data that you pull in, and you don't have the Salesforce app to assist you. But that's it.
Gotcha. Let me just flip through to see if there are any other questions or comments that's coming through. There is nothing else. Perhaps maybe it's a good time to, is there any other last words or last comments maybe from Tian or Ashley or Palisa that they want to share with us? Or are you good?
Yeah, just again, briefly, we're very excited for everything the solution holds, especially as you said on the roadmap. The Mule Connect is also quite a big deal for us, especially because there's a software that's so incumbent in so many of the large companies in SA. To be able to combine both the tools is really fantastic for us.
Fantastic. All right, I think let's wrap it up. Just in closing, we shared some of the amazing takeaways from this webinar. We've seen some use cases and examples of how DocFusion for Salesforce offers unique and powerful features, especially about integration, enterprise level scalability, democratized document, multi-point system connectivity, and user-friendly template creation. And Ashley's demonstrated that to us very well. So thank you very much, everybody, for your time. We obviously wanted to make sure that you can understand and see how, when you integrate DocFusion into your Salesforce environment, for your boosted productivity, for an empowered team to eliminate all those bottlenecks for specific expertise, and also consistent data to integrate and synchronize your Salesforce data seamlessly with other business critical data sources. Once again, a huge thank you to our sponsor, DocFusion, and their partner, EXAH, our speakers, our panel members, our team, and more importantly, the audience that obviously took the time out to actually be a part of this for such an empowered and informative webinar seminar session. Thank you very much, and goodbye.